Straight ahead on 12 News, a scam that targeted a Brooklyn Park business.
I've seen a lot of scams come my way, and this one got me.
What makes this scam look so legitimate? But first, a local senator proposes a bill impacting gun sales.
I think common sense should prevail.
It's a bill that has the support of local police. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. An effort is underway at the state capitol to expand background checks on gun sales.
DFL Senator Ron Latz and DFL Representative Dan Schoen introduced the legislation at a news conference this morning. Delane Cleveland was there, and he joins us now with more. Delane?
Mike and Alex, under current law, anyone wanting to buy a firearm from a licensed gun dealer has to undergo a criminal background check. However, that doesn't extend to gun shows and online purchases. Two state lawmakers hope to change that.
And I'm pleased to join this very impressive crowd here to announce the introduction of legislation.
Thursday morning, law enforcement, people directly impacted by gun violence, and state lawmakers.
This bill is not only about public safety, but is demonstrating that the Second Amendment rights can go hand in hand with responsible gun ownership.
Gathered to unveil the details of a bill that would expand criminal background checks on gun sales in Minnesota.
In Minnesota, licensed gun dealers must conduct criminal background checks on potential buyers to make sure they are not legally prohibited from having firearms. Unlicensed sellers don't do that.
The bill's sponsors say someone trying to purchase a firearm at a gun show from dealers on the internet or from an individual seller aren't subjected to the same scrutiny.
The bill that we are introducing does not overreach and is a common sense proposal that will keep all Minnesotans safe and safer.
It's a sentiment echoed by Plymouth Police Chief Mike Goldstein.
It would make it safer. It's not the cure-all, but it is something, and we have to do something to better safeguard these issues within the communities that we serve.
However, on the Capitol grounds, members of the Gun Owners Civil Rights Alliance expressed their opposition.
Law-abiding gun owners in Minnesota aren't the problem. They shouldn't be subject to further restrictions, to further fees, to further impediments, to further chilling effect on their right to keep and bear arms.
To that point, the lawmakers who introduced the bill acknowledge they have got an uphill battle, but Chief Goldstein didn't mince words when asked about the fight ahead.
I think common sense should prevail. This is not a Second Amendment issue. This is not a gun control issue. This is just making sure that dangerous people don't access weapons, and how you can't get behind that, I'll never understand.
Senator Latz acknowledged that it's a highly charged issue that will attract money from interest groups outside of Minnesota. He went on to say that there are probably a lot more legislators who will agree with the bill than those who will actually vote for it due to political reasons. Mike?
All right, Delane, thank you. 2 arrests have been made in connection with a shooting outside a shoe store in Brooklyn Center. The gunfire broke out Saturday morning outside the Foot Locker at the Shingle Creek Crossing Shopping Center. 2 people were hurt. Police say it happened after an argument over a newly released pair of Air Jordan tennis shoes. The sheriff's office says 2 juvenile males were arrested Wednesday night in Minneapolis, but police are still looking for more information, and anyone with cell phone pictures from Saturday is urged to contact police. In other news, Brooklyn Park will not change how it decides the outcome of city elections, at least not for now.
The Brooklyn Park Charter Commission voted not to put ranked choice voting on the November ballot. The vote was 6-4. Ranked choice voting allows voters to rank candidates in order of preference. Those in favor say it eliminates the need for a primary. Those against believe it's simply too confusing and is trying to change a voting system that isn't broken.
I don't know if Brooklyn Park is ready for ranked choice voting or not, but I think Brooklyn Park definitely should have the opportunity to express their opinion as a city on ranked choice voting.
Those who would really be in favor of moving to a ranked choice voting system in Brooklyn Park, if they really did want it, they would have come out in mass.
The Charter Commission studied the issue for the past year and a half before its vote on Wednesday night. In Plymouth, more homes are proposed in the northwest part of the city. The City Council approved preliminary plans for 31 single-family homes in a heavily wooded area at County Road 47 and Dunkirk Lane by the Plymouth Dog Park. Because of grading challenges at the site, about 90% of the trees on the site would need to be removed to make way for construction and retaining walls. The developer would be required to plant new trees. Scammers are turning attention away from consumers and chasing something even more lucrative: businesses.
Often these scams look so legitimate they fool even the most seasoned professional. Reporter Shannon Slatton shows us how a scammer targeted one Brooklyn Park business.
Yeah, here's another one. Oh, look at this one here. It's a good one here.
You know that feeling you get when you're reminded of a bad memory?
At first, I felt like a fool. It's like, oh, are you kidding me?
Something you'd rather just forget?
Suspicious account activities? They're the one being suspicious.
Rick Rasmussen gets that at least once a day.
Withdrawn $5,800 from your bank account.
In the form of an email in his spam folder.
I've been in this business for 33 years. I've seen a lot of scams come my way, and this one got me. This is what we use.
It started about a month ago when he got an email from Square.
So basically, we plug that in the Square reader.
Square is the device and system that his technicians use to run credit cards in the field.
We just simply swipe it. Boom, it goes right into our account. We had the funds the very next day. Oh, here's another one right here.
The email asked for an update.
Everything looks so legit. So I went in and updated my account. Didn't think nothing of it.
But the next day, Rick got a call from Square.
And said, oh yeah, we transferred your funds into your new bank in Alaska. And I'm like, you know, we live in Minnesota and sometimes it feels like Alaska, but I tell you, we don't live in Alaska.
Then Rick started on damage control.
What a headache. But Square was phenomenal. I mean, they took the hit. It was like $1,400.
Scammers are hacking smaller companies and getting away with a lot of information and a lot of money.
Dan Hendrickson with the Better Business Bureau says scammers are going after businesses because they could net more money from the business or even the business's customer base.
This is what they do for a living. They're professionals. They know what they're doing, they know what questions to ask, and they know how to go about it. So people have to be very careful and just realize this could happen to you.
Rick learned to carefully look at email addresses.
Most people don't look at this. They just look at this big square right here. That's not Square. It's not going to show up as that.
And more importantly, that scammers can look so legitimate, anyone can fall victim.
I got to give him credit where credit is due. He got me, but you know, it's the one time that's it.
This type of scam is called spear phishing, when scammers gather so much information about a company that they can target it in a very legitimate looking way. New payment options like Square, Apple Pay, and Google Wallet are providing new opportunities for scammers. And Mike and Alex, businesses are just advised to be vigilant. If you have questions, pick up the phone, get on the phone with the company itself to see what's going on.
Ask first, right?
That's
Ask
right.
the questions.
But he was lucky. He didn't lose any money. His customers didn't lose any information there. But he's just proof that anybody can fall for it.
Scary. All right.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon. With all the attention surrounding the race for president, it's easy to forget that other key local races will be decided in November. Hennepin County Board Chair Jan Callison shed some light on voting changes that will occur this election season. Callison spoke to the North Hennepin Area Chamber of Commerce in Brooklyn Center. One noticeable change for local voters in November will be the use of e-poll books, which should help speed up the voting process.
You will find that rather than the clerk paging through, pieces of paper trying to find your name, she's going to be able to find it electronically, and you'll be able to sign. And once you've voted, it will go to a central office. So if you tried to go to another place and vote, 2 hours later, your name's already downtown.
Callison also said the number of people opting to vote early continues to increase in the county. Coming up, one very disciplined standout student. We head to Breck School to meet him next.
That's right. And then a little bit later in sports, get set for two big semifinal matchups involving local teams at the state boys basketball tournament.
But first, a breezy but mild Friday.
This week's Standout Student has a passion for science and an unusual sleep schedule that seems to work.
Teachers say Breck Jr. Raunik Vijaker is a joy to be around and a great student. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on this week's Standout Student.
Ronak Vijayakar is right at home in his chemistry class.
Are you going 125 by 340?
He has a passion for science.
I really like physics. It's one of my favorite classes.
Ronak's schoolwork and extra activities are demanding. He's also demanding of himself. He's in bed by 8 every night and gets up at 2 in the morning.
If I have a lot of homework, I schedule it so that the next morning I will get up and do it early in the morning.
He also carves out time to participate on the Breck military history team. He says analyzing military movements are way more fun than video games.
You have to come up with a strategy. You have to send out orders to the people in your division.
Ronak also studies martial arts and has a first-degree black belt in karate. He's also part of a school service project called Gardening for Social Change.
This is some red oak leaf lettuce and another kale plant in the back.
Food grown in the garden is donated to local food shelves.
This is our first year trying it with this system because this is like a full hydroponic system.
Ronak and the other volunteers want to change the world by making people self-reliant.
We want to, give them the power to grow their own food, because if they can do that, they don't even need us to be donating to a food shelf.
In Golden Valley, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Ronak is also a Nordic skier and is studying Chinese. He's also on the Breck Headmasters list. Hasn't decided yet on a college, but they'll all be after him, right?
Absolutely. And you could say that he is a standout principal. The Minnesota Elementary School Association has recognized a Plymouth principal with a statewide honor. Dr. Brad Gustafson recently received a Leadership Achievement Award. He's principal at Greenwood Elementary in the Wayzata School District. The award honors principals whose leadership has helped improve education, their communities, and their profession. But Gustafson is quick to credit his staff for their use of modern teaching tools and for fostering deep thinking at the elementary level. Coming up, young students embrace song to deliver smiles.
But first, the Park Center girls basketball team gets set to face Champlin Park for a section championship. John Jacobson has a preview next in sports. We've seen a couple of good games so far this playoff season, but this could be another one, Champlin Park and Park Center.
2-point game when they played during the regular season, and yeah, this one with a lot more at stake. Trip to state on the line. Section finals week in girls basketball in Minnesota. The Park Center girls won the last 2 Class 3A state championships, but now they're in Class 4A, and they will shoot for a spot in that state tournament tonight. Park Center plays Champlin Park in the Section 5 4A final at Anoka High School. After holding an 8-point lead with under 4 minutes to go against Osseo in the semifinals last Saturday, Pirates needed that last-minute 3-pointer to beat the Orioles. Back in January, Park Center lost to Champlin Park by 2 points. The Pirates say they learned from that loss and expect another good game tonight.
Just enough of a double on Trimble to get a piece of
They beat us, so we want our revenge. I think it's going to be a really, really close game. We match up pretty well with them. We each have a really good big. We have the guard, they have the guard, so it'll be a really, really evenly matched game.
Well, Champlin defends really well, and they're really well coached, have a lot of talent. Hannah Krimble is phenomenal. Erica Hicks is good. And so they're a really good basketball team. It's going to be a hard game.
We lost the first time. I mean, I think that gives us more determination to come back and win this time. And they have a lot of good players, good, strong team. But I mean, if we come with our best game and our defense, I think we can win it.
Now, State High School League media policy does not allow Channel 12 to televise the game live tonight or during Channel 45's coverage of the state boys tournament. We will, however, have highlights on 12 News Friday at 4, and you can watch the complete game Saturday night at 10 on Channel 12 or 12.tv. One other Brooklyn Park-based school is playing in a section final. Maranatha Christian Academy plays Lester Prairie in the Section 4A championship game. That's Friday afternoon at 5:45 at Anoka Ramsey Community College. The Mustangs have won their section 6 straight seasons. In the boys' state tournament, a championship caliber matchup takes place Thursday night in the Class 4A semifinals. Hopkins will take on defending champion Apple Valley. Hopkins, seen here in their quarterfinal round win over North St. Paul Wednesday, handed Apple Valley its only defeat of the season. Both teams have one loss, and Hopkins is the number 2 seed for the tournament, Apple Valley number 3. It's a star-studded game featuring 3 of the 5 players on the Star Tribune's All-Metro First Team. Tip-off is set for around 8 o'clock Thursday night at the Target Center. In the first semifinal, top seed Osseo will take on the team that knocked out their rival, Maple Grove. The Orioles will face Lakeville North in the 4A semifinals. Osseo raced out with an early lead and were never really threatened against Eden Prairie in the quarterfinals Wednesday. The Orioles won 85-73. Lakeville North led most of the way en route to a 60-49 win over Maple Grove. The Osseo Lakeville North game is at 6 o'clock at the Target Center. We'll have highlights and reaction from both of our local teams in the semifinals Friday starting at 4 here on 12 News. The Saturday championship game in 4A slated for 8 o'clock. While the Orioles get ready to face Lakeville North, the former Osseo star who hit the game-winning shot to beat Lakeville North in 2012 state 4A championship game is getting set to play in the NCAA tournament. Theisen and his South Dakota State Jackrabbits punched their ticket to the big dance Tuesday night. Number 42 in white, Theisen is a sophomore for South Dakota State. He had 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 blocks for the Jackrabbits as they beat North Dakota State in the Summit League Championship game to earn a bid in the NCAA tournament. Theisen started all 33 games this season, averaging 6.2 points and 3.5 rebounds per game while shooting 53% from the field and 79% from the free throw line. So a big thrill for all of those guys. Anytime you can play in an NCAA tournament, you won a state high school league championship, it's been a pretty good career.
Great to see those former high school players go on, right?
Yes.
Thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, singing to a wiser crowd.
A special group of singers share their voices when we come back. Well, here's an event where you can put your health and well-being to the test. It's the City of Plymouth's Healthy Living Fair to be held this Sunday from 1 to 4 at the Plymouth Creek Center. It's free to the public. The event features free health screenings, including blood pressure and cholesterol checkups and stroke and diabetes risk assessments. There's also information sessions, including the 5 mistakes many of us make at the grocery store. I'd like to know what those are.
Yes, exactly.
Finally, a special musical treat for an older audience.
Fourth and fifth graders with the honors choir at Osseo area schools sang to seniors at a special luncheon in Brooklyn Park. Every elementary school of the 17 in the district has at least one student in the choir. And by the way, this choir will celebrate a 50-year anniversary next year. And that does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And as we say goodbye, we leave you with more from the District 279 Honor Choir. Enjoy.